Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're a first-time homebuyer in Salem, Oregon, or any of the many beautiful surrounding areas in Oregon, you're gonna wanna listen to today's video until the very end because I'm gonna be sharing a handful of questions that all first-time buyers in our area need to be asking themselves. But first, if you're new here, welcome. My name's Mariah. I'm a real estate agent in the beautiful state of Oregon. My husband and I run a top-producing husband and wife real estate team together here in the Willamette Valley, and we get calls, texts, and emails from people like you watching our YouTube videos thinking about either relocating to or just buying or selling real estate here in Oregon. If that's you, don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to work with you as well. The first step is going to be shoot me an email and then we can get a call on the schedule. I'll put my email in the description below. The first question you need to be asking yourself is, how much can I afford to be spending on a home? This is a big question, and honestly, the only way to really know this for sure is talking to a lender. When you have a conversation with a lender, they are going to be able to answer questions like what your monthly payment would be at certain price points, how much money you would need to expect to put down on a home at certain price points. They're really going to clarify things for you. So talking to a lender is definitely going to be the first step. The first step after you reach out to us, that is, we can set you up with a solid lender. If you want a recommendation for somebody who is local to the area, just let me know and we're happy to pass that information on to you, whether it is a lender for a manufactured home in a park or a regular stick-built home lender. The next question you should ask yourself is, what is the home buying process? What does that entail? And what do I need to know? There's a lot that goes into the home buying process. You do not need to know everything up front. A couple ways you can find the answer to this question would be, one is you're doing the right thing right now, watching YouTube videos like this one. I have an entire playlist on my channel called How to Buy a House in Oregon. So go binge watch those videos and get through that playlist, and that will share with you pretty much everything you need to know before you buy a house in Oregon, but also having a consultation call with your realtor. Not all realtors will do this, but this is definitely the first step when you work with my husband and I, is we're just gonna have a quick laid back conversation with you either over the phone or over Zoom. In this conversation, we are going to get any of your questions answered about the buying process, the area, and we'll be able to walk you through the process if you would like. And I definitely think this call is important because it just gives you clarity as to what to expect, at least as far as the first steps go. When you're buying a home, you don't need to know everything. That's what your realtor's for. They will walk you and guide you through the process and really hold your hand along the way. But having this call is definitely going to help set the tone for a smooth buying process, I truly do believe. How much should I save for my down payment? There are loan programs here in the state of Oregon where you can actually put $0 down on a home. We have helped buyers over the years, many buyers over the years, buy houses putting $0 of their own money down and asking the seller to pay for all of their closing costs. And then years down the road, these same buyers, sell the house, make a really good profit, and they didn't even put any of their own money into the home up front. So this is a really cool thing to take advantage of if you qualify for this loan. It is important to note that if you're going to use that loan, the USDA loan, the $0 down loan here in Oregon, it does need to be on a home that's outside of city limits. So you cannot use it in Salem, for example, or Portland, but there's so many towns on the outskirts in every direction of both towns that are eligible for this loan. But with that being said, there's a handful of different loan options. There's first-time buyer loan assistance programs. Those are all things your lender is going to be able to walk you through. Another important reason to talk to a lender sooner rather than later. What is earnest money and how much of it do I need to put down? Your earnest money deposit, this is often confused with the down payment. It is separate from the down payment. However, it sits in escrow until closing, and it does go toward the down payment or like the cost of the home at closing. This is money that is basically just to show that you're serious. Usually, unless written differently in the contract, once we have an offer accepted on a property, you will have 3 business days to get your earnest money into the title company. It has to be written in the form of a check, and I'll explain, exactly how it needs to be written once we get an offer accepted. You don't even need to worry about that now, but it does need to be written in the form of a check, and this will go to the title company and sit there until we close. Generally, earnest money is going to be about 1% or so of the sale price, but that's negotiable and it just depends on what you want to put down and what you want to write in the offer. You do lose this money if you were to back out right before closing and for no good reason. However, if you back out during the inspection period, the first 10 business days of your offer being accepted, or if you were to back out because your loan falls through or something that's not your fault, you get your earnest money back. What happens if my offer is rejected? So once we write an offer on a property, your offer is either going to get accepted or countered or just straight up rejected. Now, if there's multiple offers, don't expect a counter. Obviously, like that's probably not gonna happen. They're gonna just either accept your offer if it's the best or accept another offer. If your offer is not accepted, then we either can rewrite another offer if we really wanna go for it, if we really like this house and there's no other offers on the table, we can rewrite our offer. However, if there are other offers, then you just lost out on that house and we're gonna have to just wait till we find another house that's suitable for you and then we will write an offer on that property. Should I buy a fixer-upper or a move-in ready home? This is a very personal question. This is not something that I think as your real estate agent, honestly, I can even answer for you because this is gonna be so different circumstance to circumstance. I think also your definition of fixer-upper could really change what you're looking for. Some people, when they say fixer-upper, they think like it's in horrible condition and like needs everything. And then some people just think that just means cosmetic updates and they're gonna be okay with putting paint on the walls and replacing the floors. And that could be a fixer-upper to them. So know what your definition is and what you're talking about. Something important to note as far as fixer-uppers go though is if a home is in such poor condition that it cannot be financed, you cannot get a loan on it, then a lot of these homes that are like super lowest part of lowest homes on the market, I guess you could say, in our area, a lot of them are in such poor condition that they cannot be financed. If that's the case, then you don't want to fix her upper like that unless you're a cash buyer, and then maybe you want to go that route. But be aware, if you are getting a loan, then the home will have to meet certain qualifications, I guess you could say, for it to pass the appraisal and for you to be able to get a loan on it. Now, there are certain loans that are stricter than others. FHA, for example, is going to be stricter than conventional, so that's something to keep in mind. We will let you know as your agents when we are house hunting. If I see any red flags about the home, like I'm not an inspector, I'm not legally allowed to give advice in that area, but if I see something that I do think would be a red flag off the top of my head and I just really don't think it would be financed with your loan, then I will say something to you before we look at the home. Or more often than not, the home will say on the listing where I can see as your realtor on like the back end of things that the home is not financeable, it's cash only due to the poor condition. So if that's the case, I will likely see it and then I will tell you, and then we just won't go look at the property. So anyway, I hope that answers some of your questions if you are a first-time buyer. If you are wanting to buy a home in Salem or many of the beautiful surrounding areas, I'd love to work with you as your realtor. I will put my contact information below. Shoot me an email anytime. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.